What you see here is not TAS. This is not even performed by a normal speedrunner, but fully blindfolded. Single-star speedruns in Mario 64 are wild. Even in Blindfolded, we are performing single-star speedruns for the fastest time with strategies that would usually be unthinkable for blindfolded gameplay. The problem is that many of the currently standing world records are already hyper-optimized with only a few frames to save. Some are just incredibly hard to perform that they have never been attempted again after a few successful runs, some require incredible luck after long periods of gameplay, and others are just utterly absurd. But today I will present to you how I challenged the 3 oldest standing world records in the entire game. And trust me, they have been unbeaten for a long time for a reason. I mean, you have to hit stuff like this without sight to have a chance to be part of blindfolded gaming history. And did you know that you can be part of blindfolded gaming history much easier? Sponsor a star and claim your name on it for the upcoming 120 star run. More info in the description and in my Patreon. It all started with me practicing for the upcoming blindfolded 120 star speedrun. I was derusting Tall Mountain 100 coins, and after yet another reroute, I beat the world record of that star by a huge margin. I opened our official single-star world record spreadsheet and noticed that the previously standing world record was from 2021. Nobody attempted to beat this record for 5 whole years. The reason is pretty obvious. It is a long and complex 100 coin star that you would only really see from players who are going for 120 star anyways, which, well, currently is only myself. So there was just not enough competition around that star. But that made me curious. What are the other oldest standing world records right now? Johannes, who manages the single star spreadsheet, created a little overview recently of how many world records we have from each year. And looking at it after my TTM 100 grind, I saw that we have 3 world records that stand out, while the rest is relatively updated and recent. Of course, that really piqued my interest, so I checked what these 3 oldest world records are in order to potentially beat them and save 3 lines in our precious spreadsheet. And oh boy, with this I started a long and painful journey. Let us look at the stars individually and analyze them. They all have very different skill sets and problems, so I knew it would be a pain to grind from the very start. Starting with 2021, we have Mysterious Mountainside and yet again Tall Mountain. A normal completion of this star blindfolded usually takes around 16 seconds. Looking at the world record though, I did it in 14.73 in 2021. How did I get it even lower? The answer is very unfortunately this. That's interesting. Back in the days, in order to fill the spreadsheet with some good times, I one day decided to write the absolutely inhuman Breezeless strat. This is an absolute top visual runner only strategy with absurd amounts of precision needed. Doing this blindfolded is equal to winning the lottery. You need a perfect angle, a triple jump from the highest pixel on the ground, wall kick with a very good frame at the absolute peak of the jump height, curve correctly into the wall for a clip, and then perform a ground pound yet again at the absolute highest peak. This could very much translate to multiple frame perfect inputs with precise positions back to back, all while blindfolded. But yeah, I did that back in the days, and now unfortunately I have to beat this. To my big delight and or potential future frustration, I used a relatively unknown normalization setup for the angle that cost me a few seconds to perform. If I could somehow skip the normalization and just wing it, we would save multiple seconds. Taylor actually has attempted to beat my world record once in the past, and even got the clip with a much faster setup in the beginning, but unfortunately missed the direct star grab, which made it overall slower than my old record. If I could combine a faster beginning with my ending, that would be the ultimate single star world record. The second star I had to check out was Watch for Rolling Rocks in Hazy Maze Cave. This one is yet another very unique one, as it has 2 incredible features: hyper optimization and randomness. The star itself is very short with only 16 seconds. What makes it an absolute pain to grind is that there are random rocks coming at you, which make you reset every second or third attempt. In combination with an already incredibly optimized world record in which you basically need to play flawlessly to have a chance. The ending is especially horrible. It requires a perfectly spaced double jump wall kick at maximum jump height. Preferably, you get a first frame wall kick like the world record does for extra speed, and then dive rollout straight into the star with a good line and a dustless rollout. All of this has the problem that you cannot frickin' see. The distance to the wall for the wall kick is always a tiny bit different based on our position, so timing the wall kick or even going for a firstie is completely random. Same as the angle towards the star, as we need to start the double jump in an unnotched angle to make it work. Long story short, the world record stood so long because it is incredibly maxed out in terms of speed. It had good RNG, a perfect angle, a first frame wall kick, and a direct rollout into the star. Maybe I could shave off a few frames here if I am lucky, but I didn't have high hopes for this one. Finally, the last standing world record from 2023. After TTM Breezeless, the epitome of precision, and HMC Rolling Rocks, the embodiment of perfection, we have BBH Merry-Go-Round. BBH Merry-Go-Round?
Huh?
Honestly, I looked at this entry and was dumbstruck. That star is neither hard, precise, long, or anything. I didn't even have any memory of ever seriously grinding it. Looking at your world record, it was definitely a clean run, but nothing I cannot improve in a few tries. The star starts with a semi-precise jump down to the basement floor. You need to quickly turn as soon as the door closes and regain movement, and perform a specifically notched double jump with a timed kick down the hole. After you reach the door, it gets a bit trickier. You need to space yourself underneath the ghost spawn point so you can ground pound them as soon as they activate. The problem with this is of course the moving floor. Somehow you need to keep track of your position and readjust after every single kill, which can quickly lead to failure. After 5 ghosts, the big boss boo spawns, which can be killed with 3 more hits, and then the hardest part of the entire star awaits, the star spawn. In order to finish the star quickly, you want to jump from the rotating platform directly into the star. But of course, at this point, after all the ground pounds, especially against the boss boo, it is extremely random where you are actually standing. With all this being said and done, I booted into TTM one stream and I thought I would quickly grind the oldest single star world record first. It cannot be too bad. I learned a faster beginning that skips denormalization, started the green timer and went for some attempts. Since this is such a short star, I could really just throw in attempt after attempt. The first few all failed, but within 3 minutes I already got this. Oh, that was close! Wait, that was close! That was incredibly close. Maybe 1 frame off at either the ground pound or the triple jump height. The chat was hyped and so was I. I can actually beat this, and from analyzing the stars, this would be by far the hardest one. Let's do a few more attempts. Nothing. Absolutely nothing for 3 whole hours performing the same first 6 seconds of the star. I was losing my mind. My fingers were numb at this point, my mind a complete mess, and the frustration kicked in hardcore. How the hell did I fluke the first clip so early on? It was such a false hope that was given to me, because this star is actual hell. I was desperate and completely out of it, so after 3 hours and 20 minutes, I decided to give up. Yeah, no, this... I am done, dude. Oh, I thought we're gonna grind the stupid single star for a bit, have a nice time. And honestly, even failing would be good, but I don't understand it. I literally just don't understand what matters there. It feels completely random, dude. That's what really bugs me. There's nothing I can control. It just completely feels random, like I have no influence on it. I messaged my good friend Tylord, the person with the second most single star world records besides me right now in Blindfolded SM64. Tylord especially focuses on short and really difficult strategies that are similar to visual counterparts. If there was someone who could help me with this project, it was Tylord. I will try the other 2 stars first. Breezeless sucked my soul out of me today. Feel free to go wild if you want. Tried it out for a bit. I can see why it sucks. And oh lord, if Tylord says it sucks, then there is very, very little hope. Anyways, the next day I started the stream, and as I've learned nothing, I went back to Breezeless instantly. Nice talk about giving up and all. You need to know I'm a very stubborn person with my goals. I grounded for around an hour and yet again, nothing, absolute zero progress. I was devastated, so I moved on to an arguably easier stuff first. Merry-go-round. After analyzing the star a bit, I found a potential better ending for the boss skill that positions us right under the star while still damaging the boss. The idea is to utilize a slide kick after the first ground pound to instantly position yourself in the nuke where the star spawns. There, you can kill the boss safely without worrying about the moving floor anymore, and furthermore, you can save time by hitting the final hit with the ground pound directly under the star. I grinded this for a bit, had some really close calls, but finally, after only 20 minutes of grinding, I got this run. Oh dude, that was so clean, why didn't that work? Cinema. Oh, 38 seconds, dude. Third oldest single star world record broken. And also honestly a huge improvement. 1.5 seconds for such an optimized star. Awesome. That is 1 out of 3 stars done with even a huge time save thanks to the new ending by more than 2 seconds. But that also meant that I have to tackle the hard ones next. The following day, I yet again started the stream with around 15 minutes of breezeless attempts, just in case we get lucky. During all the attempts in the past days, I've been trying to optimize my setup for more consistency in various ways. But on this day, something clicked. I started counting a quarter beat count in the beginning to make the initial long jump position a bit more consistent. And somehow, I got much more attempts going than before. Yes! Sup then, dude, what the fuck? There it is. After only 15 minutes of attempts on this day, Breezeless was finally conquered with an absolutely beautiful run. 5 seconds faster than the previous world record and an official sub 10 second completion of the star. This is now officially the 4th fastest star in the game. I was in disbelief, honestly. After the horrible grind the past days, I really lost hope that I had the skill and patience to beat this one. But pushing through the hardship was absolutely worth it. I could finally put the star to rest, and with that it was 2 out of 3 oldest world records beaten. On the same day, I actually wanted to stop streaming Blindfolded Mario, but since we just got Breezeless, we all were incredibly hyped, so I just booted up HMC and tested a bit with Rolling Rocks. In theory, this star should be considerably easier than Breezeless, but since it's so optimized already, it might actually be really hard to beat. Luckily, I had an ace up my sleeve. From the very first moment I saw the previous single star world record, I had an idea. There is a technique that visual speedrunners use for this star, called GTM slide. Instead of just long jumping over the pit in the main room, you perform a C-up slide to build and conserve more speed. effectively saving around 0.5 seconds or so if performed well. Since the upslides are rather easy to perform and are heavily used in Blindfolded Mario, for example in the recently found crack slide, I instantly knew that I would want to implement this strategy for a small time save. Once I learned how to do it, I just need to get good RNG, a perfect double jump spacing, a good wall kick and angle, and a great rollout into the star. Since we would save a few milliseconds with the new strategy, we would probably not even need the absolute perfect execution that the current world record has in order to beat it. At first, I struggled with the C upslide, but very soon we found how to perform a new blindfolded friendly version of the trick. Instead of timing the jump and kick and visually aligning with the amazing exit star, which we cannot do while blindfolded for obvious reasons, we sacrifice around 0.1 seconds to just walk off the edge and notching a full upright until we land. That gives us the perfect C upslide angle with relatively high consistency. I also tried to figure out various strategies for the ending, but it still seemed like the off-notch upright double jump was our best bet. The only problem left was the random rocks, but that is something that I just have to deal with mentally and accept the resets. With that, I had all the playing cards laid out and began the grind. Why couldn't I long jump? Yes! Let's go, man! It is over. It is over. It is over, dude. We've beaten every single Star world records from 2022, 2023 and 2021, man. Oh god, what a grind. 1.5 hours of GTM slide, man. Holy shit. Oh, I'm so done on, dude. I am so done with single stars for like the rest of my life. Like, who thought it is a good idea to do Breezeless into like one of the most optimized stars ever, dude? Back to back. 15.5. Beautiful. Nothing but beautiful. Not only did we implement the new C up slide strategy, but we also got a perfect ending. Great double jump spacing, first frame wall kick, and direct rollout into the star. Perfection. And with that, the journey of beating the oldest single star world records has concluded. I'm really happy to have pushed through this incredibly difficult challenge and hope you liked it. As a bonus little fun fact, remember when I messaged Tylord earlier in the video about Breezeless? Well, you can always trust Tylord. Only 2 days after my grind has concluded, Tylord posted this. The man has done it again. By performing a slightly faster beginning in combination with faster execution, Tylord managed to save a few more frames compared to my record. Nothing short of beautiful if you ask me. Definitely make sure to check out Tylord's other records as well, they are very worth watching. If you want to see more single start content, let me know in the comments and make sure to leave a little sub on this channel. I also recently launched a second channel named Bubzia TV, where I upload highlights of streams including the full grind of these 3 stars, 3 times a week. So please go there and check it out, it would mean the world to me. Huge shoutouts to all my Patreons, with special thanks to Boris, King Roops, Sara, Foam Queen, First Class Citizen and Marcus Venturini. See you soon with more blindfolded awesomeness. Bye bye.